Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone.
Can I ask you something personal? When was the last time you said absolutely nothing and meant absolutely everything? You did not slam a door. You did not send a long message at midnight. You did not explain yourself one more time. You just went quiet. And somewhere deep in your chest, you wondered, did that even matter? Did they notice? Did silence actually say what words never could? If that question is sitting with you right now, this video is for you. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share might be the most freeing thing you've heard in a very long time. You are not a young woman figuring out who she is. You are a woman who has already figured out a great deal through the hard way, through years of showing up, of caring, of giving, of trying, through relationships that cost you more than they ever gave back. You have loved deeply. You have been hurt quietly. And somewhere along the way, you learned that explaining your pain to someone who caused it rarely makes anything better. You've had that conversation. You know how it ends. So now sometimes you go silent. Not because you have nothing to say. You have everything to say. But because you have finally learned something that takes most people a lifetime to understand. Not every wound deserves a response. Not every person deserves an explanation, and not every door needs to be slammed. Some simply need to be closed. Quietly, with dignity. That choice, that silence, is not weakness. It is one of the most psychologically powerful things a human being can do. Let's talk about why. Here is a truth that psychology has known for decades, but that nobody tells us plainly. Silence, when chosen consciously, is not emptiness. It is full. It is the fullest thing you can offer, or withhold. Think about it this way. Imagine you are holding a glass of water. When someone does something that hurts you, your instinct is to throw that water at them. To react, to confront, to make them feel what you feel. That is the human response. It is valid. But silence is choosing to set the glass down, quietly, and walk away. The person who hurt you is left staring at that glass, wondering why you put it down, wondering what it means, wondering if you will ever pick it back up. That wondering is powerful. Psychologists call this extinction. When someone expects a reaction from you, anger, tears, explanations, begging, and they get none of those things, it disrupts their entire internal script. Their brain has no resolution, no closure, no confirmation that they still hold power over your emotions. Your silence tells them, you no longer have a role in my emotional world. That is not cruelty. That is clarity. And for a woman who has spent decades being told to explain herself, to soften her edges, to keep the peace, choosing clarity over explanation is a revolutionary act. Here is something I want you to think about honestly. How many times in your life have you rushed to fill a silence because the quiet felt dangerous? How many times have you over-explained, over-apologized, or over-shared just to make someone else comfortable with a situation that you were the one who should have been comforted in? If you are nodding, you are not alone. This is incredibly common, especially among women of your generation. There is a term in psychology called Fawn response. You may have heard of fight or flight, the ways we react to threat. But there is a third response that does not get talked about nearly enough: fawning. It is the instinct, when something threatens your sense of safety or love, to appease, to smooth things over, to explain, justify, and fill in the silences before they become uncomfortable. Many women learned this response very early. Maybe at home, where keeping the peace was survival. Maybe in relationships where your feelings were dismissed until you presented them in just the right way. Maybe in a world that consistently told you that a quiet woman is a difficult woman. So you learned to talk, to explain, to bridge every gap. But here is what nobody told you. When you always rush to fill the silence, you take away the other person's responsibility to sit with what they did. You rescue them from discomfort. And in doing so, you carry the weight of their actions on your own shoulders. Silence says this discomfort belongs to you. I am not picking it up for you anymore. That is not coldness. That is wisdom. And it took you a lifetime to earn it. I want to tell you about a woman. Let's call her Margaret. She was 67 years old when her sister said something at a family dinner that cut her to the bone. It was not a dramatic scene. No one else even noticed. But Margaret noticed. She felt it land right in the center of her chest. For 3 days, she drafted messages, long ones, thoughtful ones. She practiced the conversation in the shower, in the car, lying awake at 2 a.m. She imagined saying exactly the right thing so her sister would finally understand. And then, on the 4th day, she closed the notebook. She put down the phone. And she simply did not respond, not out of anger, not to punish her sister, but because she realized something. She had already spent 67 years trying to make this woman understand her. And every single explanation had cost her something: energy, sleep, peace of mind. And nothing had changed, she told me. I realized I was spending my most precious resource, my remaining years of good health and clarity, on someone who was never going to hear me. So I stopped buying tickets to a show that had never once given me a good seat. That is not defeat. That is a woman who finally put herself first. Here is the psychology behind what Margaret discovered. Every confrontation, every explanation, every emotionally charged conversation costs us what researchers call cognitive load. It takes up space in our mind. It keeps us stuck in a loop, replaying, rehearsing, re-feeling. And it keeps our nervous system in a low-grade state of stress. Silence breaks the loop. It is, in the most literal neurological sense, a way of telling your own brain we are safe now. We do not need to keep solving this problem. Your energy, at any age, but especially now, is sacred. You do not owe it to people who have shown you they will not honor it. There is a reason that, in some of the most powerful moments of human experience, people go quiet. Think about grief. When someone loses a person they love deeply, the friends who help the most are often the ones who say the least, who simply sit in the room, hold a hand, and let the silence breathe. Because some things are too large for language. Dignity is also like that. Some truths about how you have been treated are too significant to reduce to a heated argument or a text message. When you go silent after someone hurts you, you are communicating several things at once. And the remarkable part is that most of them land, even without a single word. You are saying, what you did was serious enough that I have no casual response to it. You are saying, I respect myself too much to beg for your understanding. You are saying, I am no longer available to absorb what you dish out. You are saying, I know my worth, and it is not dependent on your acknowledgement. None of those things can be said as powerfully in words. Words can be argued with, twisted, deflected. But silence, sustained, dignified silence, cannot be argued with. It simply is. And it forces the other person to sit with their own reflection. Not all of them will like what they see. That is not your concern. Your concern is the woman looking back at you in your own mirror. What does she see? A woman who finally stopped shrinking herself to fit into rooms that were never built for her. I want to be very clear about something, because I think it matters. Choosing silence is not the same as choosing bitterness. It is not about nursing a grudge or hardening your heart. Bitterness keeps you chained to the very person who hurt you, just from a different angle. It means they still occupy the center of your emotional world. True silence, the kind we are talking about, is different. It comes from a place of peace, not a place of punishment. It sounds like, I've said what I needed to say, or I have realized I never needed to say it. Either way, I am moving forward. Not because this did not hurt me. It did. But because my peace matters more than proving a point. There is a concept in Eastern philosophy, particularly in Taoism, called Wu Wei. It loosely means non-action is action. The idea that sometimes the most powerful and wise response is to do nothing, to let the river find its own course. You do not have to force every resolution. You do not have to tie every loose end. Some relationships are meant to slowly untangle rather than be cut with drama. Some people are meant to be released into the quiet rather than confronted at the door. And when you release them, with silence rather than a scene, you keep your dignity intact. You keep your nervous system intact. And you keep the most important relationship you have, the one with yourself, intact. That is not just emotional health. That is wisdom. Let me speak directly to you for a moment. You are somewhere between 55 and 75 years old. You have lived through things that would break someone who hasn't developed your particular kind of strength. You have bent without breaking more times than anyone in your life probably knows about. You have held families together. You have swallowed things you deserve to say. You have forgiven without being asked. You have shown up even when no one showed up for you, and you are still here. That is not nothing. That is everything. So I want to say this plainly. The silence you are sitting with right now, the choice you made or are thinking about making, it does not make you cold. It does not make you unforgiving. It does not make you difficult. It makes you someone who has finally learned to treat yourself with the same tenderness you have spent a lifetime offering to everyone else. You are allowed to stop explaining yourself to people who were never listening. You are allowed to let relationships fade quietly rather than fighting for rooms that do not want you in them. You are allowed to be the person who ends the conversation, not because you have given up on people, but because you have chosen yourself. Your silence is not absence. It is arrival. It is the moment you stopped waiting for permission to take up space and started simply taking it. This season of your life, whatever it holds, it does not have to be defined by what others did to you, or what they failed to do, or what they will never understand. It can be defined by what you choose now, and today you can choose peace. Before you go, I want to ask you to do one thing. In the comments below this video, right now, if you can, type the words "I'm reclaiming my peace," not for the algorithm, not for me, but for yourself. Because there is something quietly powerful about putting those words into the world, about saying out loud, even in a comment section, that you are choosing yourself today. And if this video touched something in you, if it gave you language for something you have been feeling but could not quite name, please share it with a woman in your life who needs to hear it. A sister, a friend, a daughter, someone who has been swallowing more than she should. If you want more conversations like this, about healing, about self-worth, about the quiet revolution of choosing yourself in the second half of life, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because this community is built exactly for you. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. You've earned it.